Previously on the Marriage Conundrum. First and foremost, marriage is no child's play. Secondly, I don't think marriage is meant for everyone. And the third and final one, they say marriage does not guarantee any self-fulfillment. Senka, aban shemra, anasi nyankopon free sure besi fama beka say okay. Mo mawari ni nyina, I'm giving you a fellow. Oyera one neti, ukuna one neti no. Mutimi sesa, mu change partnership no wakofo obi foforo enke your boss happen na ehona ka obi who changes ahoro but the other side they say nipa na one ne tena osi wo suffocate nti wuntimi ne ntena bio no wugya no wakofo obi foforo no beba back na wo de na osi wo mpe no obi afa ne de ne twabbo kokora de no kodi da akroma de ko society na yeti ade bia obi bia nipa be ka ho asem in your own family, at church, wherever you find yourself. So when you hit a certain age limit, now the days are going by. Now people close to you don't see, say, when you be numb. You are making the move to get married. Yes, pressure na you best so good so den. The a compound situation, you know, and they say more family, more siblings. And then probably even your younger siblings are getting married. Now that's what you as the pressure na no one thing. Baby she will be a lady tata. Yes, and also a banny here, Juma dia, and your old bear money there. Then you have no excuse. If you're a man and you don't have a job and you are thinking of marriage, a wishful thinking, wait and get a job before you venture into marriage. Don't also bank all your expectations on the woman. Probably Obana Wakakushian in a year, Juma, a very meaningful job and earning a decent income. And until you feel say the way I'm a dog bowing, I don't want to lose her. And until as at now, me the man, I don't have a job there, but me perception china me worry about. Then after the marriage, I'll look for a job. Krachi, don't make that mistake. You don't need to put the cart before the horse. You cannot ask for a perfect partner in your relationship when you yourself you are not striving to be the perfect one. And if you want your relationship to mimic a perfect one, don't always ask for a perfect partner, but try as much as possible to be a perfect person for your partner. Other than that, they can only tolerate you for so long. At a certain point, they will give up. It doesn't matter for how many years. And as more worry 50 years, no, if you say at this point no jawa na hobetona, the person will opt out. Another dynamic as far as marriage is concerned. Adia bakwa ya na enwon say time oti ho society more pressure no. Unuanom ketewa nyina eware. Umates nyina eware. De bia ye more pressure no. It gets to a certain point that there is no one even coming your way. But it's interesting. At a point nyame be ye wadoma obenya o partner obeware no. Afi hu be bia nipa no mu firi ba. Wo sheka wa pa na yese ope. It is so strange. Afi na omo those days no more walking by or more ignore us or no. It's like all of a sudden they are all now noticing you, and then you still get people even though you are married and you let them know that no, I'm married, and of course once I'm married I cannot commit in another relationship, and still now I feel no more pressure. We are bad. I feel edwuma obi aso opel. Ofa ha, ushia onam ka kwan afi obi shia. It's like all of a sudden everyone is noticing you, and so one can't one here before you know it. Now Okako making a mistake. But I mean those are some of the dynamics. Oh yeah, Bema probably at the time no or baby ever seen it be as one penny. All of a sudden when you worry if you be as a child not just were responsible. I feel your own kind of crown on wherever. But those are some of the dynamics. It goes to tell us or warn us, say we need to be extra careful. Once you commit, you have committed. And you need to be disciplined. If you don't maintain a certain level of discipline, I feel no say fresh girls near if you don't be then it's like now you are even confused. And you are here, you'll be questioning yourself, say, did I make a mistake? Me worry in terms of one. I mean, we are crank kakra. But those are some of the dynamics. One other dynamic, conflict management. In marriage, I mean, there is no perfect marriage. There is no way two people can live together for so many years without having conflicts. They will arise. I mean, these are two people who were raised at different places, different nurturing methods. You have different ideals, different expectations. You have different interests, and you are learning to live together as one. Esene techerema, omo anum. omunya asem. So you should understand say entafo mpo ewoma issues bo omuntem. So you should understand say once you have such different backgrounds and you come together, you are now learning to live together. Certainly conflicts will arise, but you only need to have a very formidable coping mechanism, ways that you can always cope, tolerate, and then always find a compromise so that you can live together. Yes, the conflicts will arise. No two ways about that. Muntimi ntena se incident free sa ebedru baby ne ho beye wahi. At a certain point you feel say asumasu kro kasa too much. Opekasa kra dodo. We kra me na koma nye kra dodo. Adeketu ebi na ne ho beye wahi. You would have conflicts. They will arise, but you have to learn to navigate through them. And all you be dependent on how the two of you will be able to build your communication to a certain level where you can always talk through issues and then always find a balance. Now, another area we need to look into is the selection criteria when you are going to get married. I mean, some people, yes, there is the issue of people when they get to a certain age, nenipani be makra. But there is also that aspect where some people have set a certain high standard for themselves. Into yes, nipani be ba alright, but it's like they are too picky, and so it becomes a problem to settle down with one person. There are people who are like not content with anything, and some of the selection criteria or more some of them are even funny. Obi to make us go bema we dey middle o adodo made them impe because of the height in tea. Then you say that you are not interested in a relationship. Yes, setting a certain standard for yourself is well and good, especially when it has to do with character. There are certain characters or certain things when you see it, it should be a red flag for you. Someone who say probably this person is addicted to something, probably smoking, drinking, and all those things. If you use that as a criteria, that is very good because you don't want to get into an abusive relationship in the end. Nipa na obano, you know, say the person is a chronic womanizer or the annoying standard are well and good. But certain petty things, they say nipa we eat adodo, and I made a bema we the and I am fian dodo. Bema bena ne mkoto ayezi gani. Mede we the midini pia me now for best me. Bema we or your cocoa dodo, and mema cocoa so the so mo pemba. And indeed, maybe a bema cocoa de mempe. Ay, mamma, ya. Bema tun to more per mother home. And they cried the abba mali biso mope a beard. About we say, and indeed, a mob boy is now foremost and beard gang gibia. Or move through a mob you said because a man is no more train or mufili. Rabna Senka Abodini, any other comeka, and Kalafu bibi, or Che Yomo Kenyatta. Some of the selection criteria are so petty, and we need to understand say if we are being very stringent on that, it also affects us one way or the other. Obey sir, they are palm and for all the potential suitors that will come your way. Afi bedru baby no. Now ti baby one here now kwakobbo on an ebi bayi. Say ono na waye na obi ama wakwem. But probably it's because of the way you kept turning people away. Yesu obi akono de yesu oni odompo nso no. Nipa na so eti na wompe no. One here when nipa ba ho so no. Obesen wompe na wampe no. Ayire so by a year's time obeti na sa nipa na ware. Obekọ wedding ni biga fi na obisa ho wo team say ana so masinkam hu yanka me fa ne sa na way serious. But no obi so abefa ko. Yesi e ma hin na se we ni a ahenkwa akra bo. And we need to be circumspect too when we are setting certain standards for ourselves or a certain selection criteria for ourselves. We shouldn't be too petty. Of course, age gap is also one of the selection criteria. We need to pay attention to it. Yes, Obia ne said you're setting a standard. Obi they don't prefer people that they are age mates with, especially when you are all working in the formal sector. Because say, hey, na intimi call retirement mom, esa ye dachi e be yedin, and intimi obi a when you chair me kakra. That is also good. You can set your standard, but I mean there have been rare instances where the age gap is just over the bar. Papa did 60 years, or Banu 25 years. I mean that is too wide. That is not even an age gap. That is like an age canyon. That must be more worry. I mean clearly the basis is likely to suffer. There will be a certain communication gap. A lot of the things that will interest you will definitely not interest your partner. Oh, your mouth, Penny say, I'm at a point in my life, if you understand me or not, misunderstand me or not, me, I'm okay. Or else you may any day, Mohu Mini, Mommy and ye baby, mo whom we nay, mo for me you mean him who will see sir. Now macramo, if you no more who be. So once your interests are not aligned and there is such a gap, your relationship is likely to suffer. And a lot of marriages have hit the rock because of some of these factors. We need to be mindful of them. Now, as far as the ignition of the relationship is concerned, yes, we live in a culture. It is very difficult for a woman who is interested in a guy to make the first approach. The name say, "Oh, you have to wait for the man to approach you." These days, a lot of things have changed. So yes, you may be a woman. What you are growing? When we say, "I had the same for ever bar." If you notice a guy that you are interested in, and you also learn that this guy is single, he's someone that you like. I mean, I don't think there is anything wrong if you make an approach. You just have to be circumspect in how you make the approach. We are not saying say go and then blatantly tell the guy say this is my feelings towards you. But I mean, you can have a very diplomatic way of doing it. And my man be okra probably on so pape wasi, but ne kan anything. Be brina no monyo, be brina no mokuma ankasa. Obetimi atena dem ma reheze asema anko hia o pese o ka kire wo nyina. Ohia wo nani bo wanim na koma bo no pan. Asema o plan is ko ba be kanya ne refi ekọ. It needs to be very difficult for such a guy to make the approach. And if you, the lady who steady situation now, who steady more friendship for a long time now, who said no, the guy is interested, you can find a nice and diplomatic way of letting the guy feel at ease so that he can come out and then say it. There is nothing wrong if you make that approach. And yes, I would tell him say me train what you are before if you actually now one now chroma the call. So we need to help each other. Now, here wrap it up. No, you should understand one thing. There is a difference between being lonely and then loneliness. There is nothing wrong if you are lonely at a certain point in time. Yes, you are lonely because don't let society's pressure lead you into a relationship that you are not supposed to enter. So with the pressure next year, you go and enter into a certain relationship and then you will be suffering loneliness. Trust me, loneliness, no, it is a mental condition. And also, no, what depression what worry, all right, but you will be suffering so much depression. Even though you be you are always absent-minded. You will be free fear about you will be there with your colleagues, but still you'll be absent-minded. And in the no, you are suffering loneliness and kasa. It is like you are stuck in a certain state of hiatus. As a woman, you are always alone in your mind everywhere. You are always depressed, and that is very dangerous. Intimate the society pressure nechi and can say, oh, I'm lonely. They say, if you are lonely now and you have your peace of mind, it is much better. Take your time and make sure that you enter into a relationship that has a very solid basis so that you don't go and enter into loneliness in your relationship when everything goes haywire. It is very dangerous. And we need to avoid that pressure. In this society pressure, don't get me wrong, marriage is a very beautiful thing if you meet the right person. When you beji ankasa, you will enjoy some companionship which will actually add value to your life. But if you meet the wrong person, you would wish you had remained single. And here usually pressure na kwa to say mekai ebrebi me froka trotro I free kaneshi ekwa adenta. Mekai se car to free station na nsuo jam. Nsuo na jam ne nsuo kitwo biribiribiri pa. Ye call ye nim kakra bi nsuo no talk to the extent say driver dey do ba bi kwa no hu nanim. Ye call kakra ye hu say mantam na enam no nsuo na flood ho nti do ba bi na say driver ne sign echi. Ye call ne akopem na sign echi. Finally, the decision was that also on for main road around Circle to Adenta and into main road throughout. Now this is where the issue is. Car na a team no. A leaky to say the onama bonteno. Yeah, I take a so cray way and will be a kasa. An intimate cry, I was a G scanner, a fina atona drink, call with us will be G scanner. Codipa or Gisca or his ocean. And it's really go behind his own same dear lawyer fair. A coffee main road. Traffic ale walk on so then traffic kitwa. I remember very well. Ye bre Sankara ye hu ye ni say nipa ni bi etete cars mu a almost o train mu bre because of traffic na nti na bi crazy a o nam fam. Almost you kwan so o nante free Sankara. obi nim ba bi omoko but no mo prefer say nsuo na eto ni nyina echi they prefer to walk. And eba anima ba bedru Flagstaff House bus stop. Abrante ba kwa no tikem ba bia no ti the way na nsuo hwe no ene ade. In fact obi na ti ne nchen kra de no ko obi ne umbrella e wo car nim. But umbrella the way it and the way nsuo no bo so a splash ko obi a hono na passengers ni nyina se de bi omo mpene ma enyi so umbrella na. Nti na wo so dum no. Abrante ba kwa ti car nim no why so frustrated. Nti drew Flagstaff House junction. And oye na dwen se de nsuo ehwele wo baby ote na car no so traffic nti move no o prefer so obesi fom. Na we na you do bus stop na obesi fom no ha na asem no. Enkofo nso ejina bus stop a omo ye so frustrated. Omo twen a car ni bi ma. Omo so pe car akọ omanim. But car ni bi ma because traffic e wo kwan so nye traffic etwa. Omo so omo gina ho aye frustrated. Abrantie na ono so atena car mu frustrated why na dwe say so obetena sa traffic ni na nsuo san hwe no wo car mu die ene obesi akwa abonten no. Ono ye so osi no. Omo gina abonten na omo so pe car na arashia bi gu trotro gate na no a omo so omo mpene kura ma akwa no ensi fam. Chese nkofu mienu apre ho afro car na aba be block gate na no. Enti kwan abrantie na obi so osi ni kura bi si na ya asem. Obi ase montwen ma nipa ni nsi na mo metra mu e mo se da because omo twen ma ni si wi a yi obi foforo be fa ho akwakotra mu nti omo bo guard e wo gate na no mete car num na me wusu meti senti nkrofo yi omo ni made na omo de omo ho ba be shemni de they had no idea. You see sometimes yeah sana ugina kire yo they had no idea enti bre abrante ni timi fa ho asi fam eno two no omo bo guard wo gate na no ba ko betena ba bia no te no. So within the next 40 to 50 seconds, akwane tena ka nim kakra na say na de ene tie ene de bi o we de mint mi nko driver mpacho bosu na mi si ene obi asi wo besi adentia because ba bi o betena ye no ete se de ko gina abonte pepepe nsuo liki wo car no roof nim me kai se passenger ba ko kra joking list ka se driver mo car we de adechi ya mo fon kona carpenter ni fa chance emmo car no so nsuo ehwe no plus the fact say car no kra ntimi nko nanim afi no beti ase de nti ya no report ho no pese osi fom no ene nti ono ankasa se me na metrem but we pa de ntimi nko mo nyina ma minsi edru ba bi a sana warete. Don't get me wrong once again, I am not saying say don't worry you shouldn't get yourself into marriage. No, far from that. Like I said, marriage is a very beautiful thing if you meet the right person. But say it be maya, na society more pressure. Remember pressure no and get it to you to the extent say afi na was start bubu. There be unim de owo ni me twen. E bi mu de omo ho ahye bi mu a they are just waiting for an opportunity to get out of it. And it is a bit maya. Just don't soak yourself in the pressure. Trust me, binum wo marriage relationship ni bi mu a omo benya enka omo pie frim. And then we are also now rushing into it. I believe that the best thing to do and say seek the face of the Lord. So the be or did the right person everybody along the way. And no nyame time na enye nipa de. And whilst you seek the face of the Lord, no, also ask for the patience to be able to wait. So that you'll be able to tolerate and dissolve all the pressure while you wait. Nipa ne de udi one way chidia ade bia baby ya o meka ho asem. Don't worry any ebe more pressure na. Wa worry nso na ho atete nso a. Sankofo na atadwa na ebre wona wari umsi. Lady we pa na no ho fe pa na hwede a wari ama watete apansa maye. E na wiewie ni sa mo akoni edui. So we need to avoid the societal pressure so that we don't move from being lonely, which even though it's not ideal, it is much better because you have your peace of mind and your mental sanity. Loneliness, because in that state for the rest of your life you have to battle with that emotional defect. Once again, marriage is no child's play. Make sure you get the basis right. God, the most sure and solid basis that you can ever rely on so that you have a perfect marriage. And then no. Tell somebody about this channel. Watch other videos on this channel. Make sure you subscribe. Thanks so much for watching. Peace.